Okay, we're live. Hey, welcome. It's Friday night, so that means it is going to be news, politics, religion, everything you're afraid to talk about. Uh, let's get to the news first. Couple of things we need to discuss. First off, Alec Baldwin is going to face involuntary manslaughter charges. Will he go to jail? Probably not. They probably worked out a deal where he don't go to jail. So I wouldn't expect too much to come out of that. I think they said they are going to go ahead and finish the movie that they were shooting on when the shooting took place. Uh, so take that for what it's worth. It's going to be a nothing burger in all probability. Unfortunately, someone is still dead. And sorry about that. It's my dog. Uh, Now it's talking about the Idaho murders. They went into they released what they took out of the fella's apartment, and they took hair strands, sheets with red stains on them, hair strands, even an animal strand that could be from the dog that was over at the victim's house. Uh, so that might be more of a that might be more of a uh, problem for the defense. Of course, they did not find the shoes that were supposedly worn during that time, and they did find a glove that may or may not have blood on it. This could be another case of if the glove don't fit, you must have quit. Uh, so it'll be interesting to see what comes out of this. If they find that there's hair came from the dog over there, this might be over. They've already found out that there was blood on the knife sheath. Ooh, excuse me, that matched the victim. I mean, that matched the killer. So they found his DNA on the sheath. They may have found the animal hair from the dog that was over there. They still have not examined the car. It's still in Pennsylvania. They're still waiting to get on it. And if there's any evidence in there, you can bet it's going to be thrown in to trial. Uh, Joe Biden is still in trouble for him keeping his Obama's classified files at his garage. Ooh, excuse me again. Uh, this comes at a very inopportune time for the Democrats. Democrats are about ready to throw Donald Trump into the slammer for having classified files at his Mar-a-Lago place. And now they've got the same problem with Biden. Now, if they do not throw the book at Biden, they shouldn't throw the book at Trump. And of course, all the Trump haters are going to start crying, January 6th, January 6th, January 6th. Again, I say he didn't do anything wrong January 6th. The only thing that I fought him for was not calling the National Guard. But then again, he offered to do that a day or two before, and Nancy Pelosi said no because she didn't like the look of them being there on that particular day. Uh, I do find it quite suspect that the files were found the day after he announced that he was going to run for office again, which leads me to believe that it would be someone that did not want him to run. And I don't think the Republicans would do that because I think the Republicans want him to run because I think they got a better chance of beating him this time. The Democrats may not want him to run because they want to run somebody that's, that's younger and easier to be elected. And I think they are pushing for Gavin Newsom right now. Gavin Newsom seems to be the new superstar for the Democratic Party. Uh, Pete Buttigieg is running into problems again. One of the airlines had a miscommunication in their computer and they shut down the entire airline. So now he's going to get to the bottom of it again. It seems to be everybody's getting to the bottom of all the problems in there and nothing ever gets solved. Nobody ever gets to the bottom of it because suddenly the investigation stops and nobody knows, or they go secret and nobody knows what's going on. Uh, the Republicans are now starting to put together committees to go after the Bidens, mainly his son and brother, in hopes of maybe catching him in there. And if it goes to the Senate as an impeachment, I do not think the Democrats will impeach Biden, even if he's guilty. Republicans wouldn't impeach Trump, and the Democrats are not going to impeach Biden. Let's face it, Washington is crooked from top to bottom. If you think they work for you, think again. They work for their party. They care nothing about you. Uh, they say they do, and I believe the new ones do. But the longer they stay in D.C., the less they care about you, the more they care about staying in power and being part of the party. Uh, that's why we got what we got today. War in Ukraine is still going on. Ukraine is asking for tanks now. They need Western tanks. I don't know if they're going to get them, but they are asking for them. And I think this is quite ludicrous that we're fighting Russia in the Ukraine, but in Iran, we're working with Russia. So either they're our enemies or they're our friends. They can't be both. And if they're our enemies, why are we working with them in Iran? It's because that's the way business is done now. Uh, but like I say, everything is going to come to a screeching halt when someone makes a mistake and goes too far. Any questions about that? Leave them down there. Any comments? Whether you agree or disagree, keep them classy, not trashy. Or your comments may be deleted. Uh, let's talk some religion now. Last couple of weeks we've been talking about why do Christians not accept other people's gods? And I gave you two reasons. Number one reason is God does not leave any room for us to accept any other gods. It goes as far back as Moses and the Ten Commandments. First commandment is, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Not only that, but Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man can come to the Father except through me. And because of that, we believe that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and he was with God at the beginning. He was with God except for his 33 years here on earth, and he's with God now sitting in the throne beside him. In fact, Stephen saw him as Stephen was being stoned. He looked into heaven, saw Jesus seated on the right hand of God, standing up as Stephen was being stoned to death. Uh, and Stephen did something remarkable. Stephen prayed for forgiveness for the ones that were stoning him. And I'm sure Stephen was the first person Paul met when Paul was executed for his preaching the word. And I'm sure they had a big hug and love fest. Uh, things are not going to stay like that. There's going to be a sudden change in heaven. We've talked about this before. At this point, when Stephen was stoned, Stephen was asking for forgiveness for the people that did that. Now, if we look into the book of Revelations, it's no longer praying for the people. The people that's sitting underneath the altar of God that's been martyred during the tribulation are now looking for vengeance against the people on earth that did that to them. When will we be avenged? And Jesus says it has to wait until the last one is dealt with. So there's going to be a change in heaven in the way heaven looks at the people here on earth. Now, that being said, let's take another look at another subject. Do I have to go to church to be a Christian? No, you don't. However, there is a point to this. You don't have to be, but it's 99.9% better if you do go to church. You say, why? Why can't I serve God on while I'm hunting, or serve God while I'm fishing, or serve God watching at home, or I will go to church on YouTube? Why is that not any good? Because you're not in the fellowship. I've tried church on the YouTube. I thought it was a fun thing at first. I could sit in my house, watch it, turn down the preacher when I wanted to, go pause, go back, listen to it later. A lot of different things you can do. However, you miss being with the brothers and the sisters. Church is more than preaching. Church is more than singing. Church is a place where we are restored physically and spiritually. It's also our place to go to prepare for our battles during the week with Satan and the demons, and it's a place that where we can find rest. There's a lot of different things the church does for us. That's why when you become a Christian, you should join the church. Now, I'm not going to tell you what faith to join. That's entirely up to you. You have the Church of Christ. You have the Methodist. You have the Presbyterian. You have the Pentecostal. You have the Baptist. You have the Lutherans. Most of all of those, you have the Catholics. All of those are pretty good churches. However, find the one that fits your needs. Just remember, being on the church roll does not mean you're a Christian. I could be in a garage. That does not mean I'm a car. Uh, I'm not going to go any further. I could, but I'm not going to go any further with that. Uh, so find out why the church will fill many of your needs. Find a church that you're most comfortable in, that meets your needs, that you agree with. Number one, it should help you with your fellowship with God, help you with your fellowship with Jesus. Being a member of the church will not get you 1 inch off the earth. Being dunked or baptized or sprinkled will not get you 1 inch off the earth. The only thing that will get you off the earth is your relationship with Jesus Christ. Your relationship with Jesus Christ also affects your relationship with God. And the Holy Spirit is there to help you with this relationship. Holy Spirit does a few things. The church should train you in what you're doing. You also need to learn your church history. What does your church believe in? What does your church do? Do you have to be baptized? When do you take the Lord's Supper? There's a lot of different things that you have to take into consideration when you're going to join. Uh, Remember, and the Lord will lay on your heart which church you are to join. And it should be one that's going to build your relationship with Him. Not just because it feels good, but one that's going to teach you, one that's going to lead you in your right direction. Because God has a plan for all of us here. Everything is interconnected from the bottom to the top. Everything has to be a certain way and must go a certain way. A to B, B to C, C to D, all the way to the end of which is Z. And maybe one day we will take a look at some of the ways that some of the things that we can see that works together to make God's plans continue. Uh, I'll see you next Friday. Y'all have a great week, and God bless you. And remember, if you're going to comment, be classy, not trashy. If you like my videos, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. If you don't like them, hit the thumbs down. It doesn't do anything for my ego. I do come back and check to see if anyone has any questions, but whether you like it or not, I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to do my thing. Uh, so be good this week, and we'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye.